Buongiorno, welcome back to the Autodromo Nazionale Monza as we gear up for the second GT4 European Series race of the weekend here at the Temple of Speed. What a brilliant race battle we had yesterday, a race that went right down to the wire, and I have a feeling it's going to do exactly the same again today. We were expecting rain on Sunday. It has not appeared. We are delighted to say that it's getting hotter all the time. The sun is starting to venture out from the clouds. The track temperature is about 21 degrees Celsius at the present moment. It is only set to increase through the course of this 1 hour dash around the circuit. And after the battle we had yesterday, we are expecting more suspense and intrigue once again. Jake Sanson in the commentary box, Gemma Scott down in the pits and on the grid. And it's definitely going to be an interesting one after the challenging battle that we had yesterday. Victory in the end for Robert Consani and Benjamin Lariche, who celebrated with a nice stroll through the town of Monza last night. It was great to bump into them, and fabulous to see that they come into this one in high spirits. They are going to start on the front row of the starting grid, but the car on pole position is going to be the Hoffa Racing by Bonk BMW. Starting the race will be Gabriele Piana on home soil. That's going to be a really exciting challenge for him. The V8 Chevrolet will go third on the grid from the Overdrive Racing Porsche of Pavel Lefterov. Michael Schrey is going to be joining Gabriele Piana in the pole position car, and Gemma Scott has found Michael Schrey on the grid.
Michael, yesterday we saw quite an eventful time on track with the GT4s. Starting down here on pole position is the ultimate place to be, with the other 51 cars ultimately behind you there. What are you looking forward for?
For a good race. I mean, Gabi did a great job, the team did a great job yesterday in the qualifying, and we have the best position you can have right now for the second race. We already had a good position yesterday in race 1 with P3, and so we are quite happy, and I think we really deserved the pole.
You absolutely did, and I wish you the best of luck. Have a great race.
Thank you. Thank you.
So after yesterday's exciting race that saw the number 2 car climb up into the top 5 and battle for the victory, we should point out there are a couple of cars that are not going to be starting this race. Rather sadly, the number 27 Newbridge car was unceremoniously dumped out of the race, which triggered the red flag. Very unfortunate for Alex Denning and Matt Topham. Completely not their fault at all. The Aston Martin Vantage essentially removed from the race in a rather difficult incident under full course yellows that brought out the red flags eventually, and that car is rather sadly too badly damaged for the team to continue, and for a squad that has 3 decades worth of racing experience that really wanted to start the 2023 season on a high note. It's long faces on the way back to Great Britain for them, so hopefully they'll be back up to their best, as we expect to see from them next time out. Down on the starting grid, though, Benjamin Lariche was the man who helped captain the team speed car team to victory yesterday. What does he feel his chances are today?
And G, so far it's been a great weekend for you guys. Coming into race 2, feeling good?
Yeah, feeling good. Yes, a great weekend for the moment. So yes, FP1, FP2, we were the fastest. Pole, first line here, victory yesterday. Now we just have to focus to don't do mistake, to be strategic, because here it's very strategic with the two, with the battle in the straight line. So yes, we just focus to straight away and don't do mistake. And
of course to stay out of trouble on that first turn.
Yes. It's a tricky circuit, and just cross finger and do a good job, like all the meetings for the moment.
Thanks, Benji. Have a great one.
You're welcome.
Could be a very strong race indeed for the speed car Audi team. Benjamin Lariche and Robert Consani being supported by young Andy Consani, who is Robert's son, who is a very strong European karting racing driver in his own right. I did say to them, you've got to be careful, Robert, because Andy will be wanting to get into that car as soon as is humanly possible. He said, don't worry, we have a plan. I'm going to keep him back as long as possible. He's got to do his karting routes first. 5th on the starting grid behind the Chevrolet and the Porsche from V8 Racing and Overdrive is the number 110 Autosport Alpine. Simon Tierman is going to start the race for them. The Allied Racing Porsche of Alexander Hartwig will join him on the 3rd row of the starting grid. The leading AM car is the car that won yesterday, the AVR Avatar Porsche of Alban Veruti, lining up in the number 10 car just outside the top 10 overall. And then the Pro-Am leaders are going to be the Elite Motorsport with entire race engineering McLaren. Michael Creese is going to be starting the race, and he's very excited about that. So we've got the V8 Racing Chevrolet starting from third position on the grid. Let's head down to the second row to see how they rate their chances.
Kenny, great to see you and Dante back again this year.
Hi.
Looking for repeating last year, but taking that next step up for the championship, right?
Yeah, it's really the next level. We were vice champions in the Pro-Am Cup last year, and now it's the Silver Cup with the same team, same co-driver. Because it's a good formula last year, and why not for a second season? So we aim for the big one, but it's quite hard, as we saw yesterday already. So staying out of trouble is one of the main jobs this weekend.
Is that the biggest challenge, just the sheer number of cars that we're competing against?
I think so. The combination of numbers of cars with a track as Monza, where you don't have many space left to right, and with high speeds braking zones. If you just miss like for a few meters, you're in for some trouble probably.
Absolutely, and of course you'll take the second stint. Dante hoping just for a good start here.
Yes, hoping for a good start to get the first chicane right, and just to have fun with the driving, of course, and hope to be able to finish the car today. That's really the main job, and hopefully the highest possible.
Thank you very much. Have a great race.
Thanks.
Always an interesting challenge coming up from the Pro-Am category to the silver, but they've definitely come into it with eyes wide open, and that gorgeous Chevrolet is definitely going to be a threat here this afternoon, trying to go for the victory. So hopefully it's going to be a really strong battle all the way through this field. We're going to see some strong performances. We mentioned the rookie winners yesterday, the Elite Motorsport with entire race McLaren of Tom Emsen. That's going to be on the fourth row of the grid alongside Konstantin Lachenauer in the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin that didn't get to the end of the race yesterday because of a puncture that shredded the back end of the car on the run to the Parabolica. Very unfortunate that they dropped out of the race because they were looking good for a podium at one stage. The Pro Sport Aston Martin is back in the top 10 again for Jessica Bachmann, the very talented Swedish driver. There is Alexander Hartvig. This is one of the youngest lineups in the field in GT4. Nathan Sharp and Alexander Hartvig know each other from their karting days. They've stepped up into the world of sports car racing at this level and doing a fine job of it. Looking really, really solid to see how things all progress for them. This shot really is something, a page out of a Hollywood blockbuster, isn't it? Looks fantastic, the starting grid. And a really exciting run for all of the competitors. But it is going to be a fabulous battle as we gear ourselves up for the second GT4 European Series race of the weekend. Worth watching out for Marcel Lernertz in the starting grid for the BCMC East Side Mercedes AMG, the silver car number 4. There is Konstantin Lachenauer. You wouldn't know that that car was shredded to pieces on the run to the Parabolica yesterday, would you? They've repaired it very quickly. And there is Tom Emsen, the car that won the rookie race yesterday. He and Josh Radican for Elite Motorsport with entire race engineering in the McLaren Artura, trying to charge his way through the field. They are the silver car. Of course, the car further back in the grid for them is the Pro-Am category, with Michael Kreis putting his car into pole position in time qualifying yesterday. A great transition to the GT4 European Series for him, and he's going to share his car, of course, with Jack Mitchell. Going to be a fabulous start to the race for him, we hope. They weren't able to get to the end of the race yesterday. They only made it as far as lap 3 before a mechanical problem set in. So we didn't really get to see Michael Kreis in action. We will today, we hope, as everything goes according to plan. So the grid is cleared. The boot of Jessica Bachmann's Aston Martin is just reset into position. And we are getting ourselves ready for the start of what promises to be just as gripping a GT4 European Championship race as we saw yesterday. It was very exciting and very tight, and thanks to the late safety car period that we had, we ended up having a 7-car battle for the victory, which almost went the way of the Boddison Automotive BMW crew. Tom Edgar fought his way right up to second position and actually briefly took the lead on the run to the Rettifilio. Unfortunately, he had to run wide and then concede the place back again, never quite able to overhaul Robert Consani towards the end of the race. But Tom Edgar is actually starting this race alongside Emil Heyerdahl in the Aston Martin, so this is going to be an interesting one to challenge. Here we go. Formation lap begins here for the GT4 European Series second race of the weekend at Monza. Expect the unexpected. A close battle is going to be in the offing right from the get-go here at Monza. We're going to see lots of overtaking, lots of drama, and a lot of action to come. The Hoffa Racing by Bock BMW alongside the speed car Audi on the front row of the starting grid. V8 Chevrolet third on the grid alongside the overdrive Porsche. Rapanga and Lefterov will be the cars that start the race. Then comes the Autosport Alpine of Thurman. He will start the race in 5th position on the starting grid alongside the allied Porsche of the Whippersnapper crew. Alexander Hartvig to start. The rookie winners yesterday, Elite Motorsport McLaren in 7th alongside Lachenauer in the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston, the Pro Sport and BCMC cars of Aston and Mercedes, rounding out the top 10. The full Motorsport Audi 11th on the grid alongside the Mirage Aston, and then the car that finished 2nd yesterday, the Borusan Automotive number 12 BMW beside the AVR Avatar, AM pole position and AM winners yesterday. Qatar in the Mirage Aston alongside the Santalok Junior Audi, then the CSA and WND Audi and BMW cars. Elite Motorsport alongside Team Speed Car rounding up the top 20. The Code Racing Development and Team Spirit Pro-Am cars will give chase to the McLaren. GPA versus Mirage on the 12th row of the grid. GPA versus Borusan Automotive on the 13th row of the grid. The full Motorsport Audi fighting for Pro-Am honours. The Autosport Alpine fighting for AM honours. And the Santalok Junior Audi alongside the X-Swift Toyota down in 30th on the grid. AGS Events versus NM Racing, Aston versus Mercedes. Then the NM Mercedes versus the allied Porsche for the American Jordan Wallace to start. The Team Sorg Rennsport cars will share the 18th row of the grid. The AGS and NM Racing, Aston and Mercedes come next. To round out the 20th rows, it is Leandri and Lambert, Briche and Sales, JSB versus Santalok. The Armada and Eastside Mercedes cars will share the 22nd row. Guizhou in the Code Alpine and the Overdrive Porsche. And then the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston alongside the Centri Porsche Ticino to round out the grid. 48 cars will start out of the 51 that were due to. So several cars unfortunately not making the start, including the Newbridge Aston, which we were expecting to challenge for a strong position. Whoops, Jessica Buckman finding the grass there on the run to the Variante Ascari behind the safety car. Of course, it is a rolling start. So everybody just filing away into position. The lights out on the safety car. Tough to know who's going to get the victory this time. Gabriele Piana almost won the race in the final stage of yesterday's race. But of course, the drivers that started the race yesterday are going to finish the race today. And vice versa, the drivers that ended the race yesterday will start it today. And there at the end of the pit lane, that is the McLaren Artura. That is the 78 car. Having to start this race from the pit lane then. Very unfortunate for the team that were meant to start this race from pole position. And they have now gone into the pits. So I'm afraid Michael Kreis is going to have the mother of all chargebacks to now battle his way forward. So that's going to be a very tricky start to the race for the Elite Motorsport team that are making their European debut. They've been stalwarts in the British paddocks for quite some time now. And this is a big ask for them to develop this new McLaren Artura car. But you know what? They are acquitting themselves avidly and doing a fine job of it. Hoffa Racing by Bonk versus Speed Car on the front row. V8 Racing versus Overdrive Racing on the second. Autosport Alpine and Allied Porsche. The Elite Engineering McLaren and the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin. Then the Pro Sport Aston and the BCMC Eastside Mercedes. The leading AM is 14th on the starting grid. The leading Pro-Am looks like they're going to have to start from the pit lane now. Definitely going to be a very tough race as the drivers quest for position. There is, of course, a competition in silver, Pro-Am and Am. So we're in for a really intriguing race battle. Who's going to be the top manufacturer though? We have 5 different manufacturers in the top 5 positions on the grid. BMW, Audi, Chevrolet, Porsche and Alpine. They come off the final turn and the GT4 European Series, second race of the weekend here at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza is going to get underway. Gemma Scott is down in the pits, myself, Jake Sanson, in the commentary box, and we're about to thunder down the main straight at the Temple of Speed to the second GT4 European Series race of the weekend. It's been a great start. Yesterday was a thrilling encounter. Now we're going to see how it fares as we go ready to go racing here at Monza, and we are under starters orders now. Great start from Gabriele Piana. No problems at all for the Speed Car Audi. They're going to launch slightly further forward. They've got a better start. And it looks like a quick start from Lefterov in the overdrive Porsche as well, trying to tuck in behind the Speed Car Audi. Piana's not given up on the inside apex though for turn 1. They've gone a little bit deeper into the braking zone, and they will tuck in for the lead. The Chevrolet trying to go door to door with the Lefterov Porsche. There's a little bit of a tap as Lefterov nudges the back of the Speed Car Audi and then goes for the move, as there is a little bit of a slow coach move there into the chicane. Everybody just letting the chain reaction happen. But everybody working their way forward. There might be some damage to to the speed car Audi after the little love tap from Lefterov in the Porsche. But have they all worked their way through? Piana out in front, and now that's a move from the fast starting Alexander Hartwig, trying to work his way forward. 4th position for him so far. Little bit of nudging as they work their way through on the far side. Everybody just trying to stay out of harm's way. Couple of bits and pieces flying and flapping into the gravel trap. But in essence, everybody's still pointing in the right direction. A lot of congestion on this opening lap, but as long as everybody keeps it going, there is Michael Kreis at the back of the field, having started from the pit lane. So Gabriele Piana leads the way for the time being. Second now is Lefterov in the overdrive Porsche. A great run in second place. Oh, some carbon fiber coming off the car and being collected by several drivers down the run to the Variante Ascari. So Lefterov now in second position. Third place is Rapanga in the Chevrolet. Then Hartwig, Terman, Gonzani, Botterman, Emsen, Lachenauer and Tom Edgar in the Borusan Automotive BMW. Through the Variante Ascari and on the run to the Parabolica. Piana still out in front. Lefterov, Rapanga, Hartwig and Terman in the Alpine. Oh, and there's a puncture. Puncture then for the speed car Audi. Disaster for Robert Cansani. Puncture for the speed car Audi that won yesterday. Devastating for Cansani and Lariche. So that is Robert Cansani going to try and get that car back to the pits. What that means then is we are going to have a completely different winner to yesterday. They'll never make that time back easily. And Alexander Hartwig in the Porsche is trying to work his way forward. Porsche have started beautifully. Second for Lefterov, 4th for Hartwig as they try and close up on the V8 Racing Chevrolet. And there is Tom Emsen getting his move on the inside of Tom Edgar as they battle away for position. Working their way through. Whoops! That is one of the Audis, I think, overshooting there. And going across the grass. I wonder if that was the number 83 car just overshooting at the Rettifilio. As everybody else is still motoring around. Robert Cansani has made the car come back to the pits. We have lost Rory van der Steur in the Mirage Aston, and we seem to have lost the number 15 of Alexandra Papadopoulos in the NM Racing Mercedes as well. A little bit of a nudge from the 18, just trying to get off the turn. That is Lungstrasse. But certainly the battle for second position is kicking off apace. Lefterov, Rapanga, Hartwig, Terman, Porsche, Chevrolet, Porsche and Alpine. And then in 6th place, it is Botterman in the car that was involved in the first corner incident yesterday in the opening laps, but has managed to stay out of trouble this time, courtesy of their very talented driver, Sasha Botterman. But up to 7th place now has come Tom Emsen. He's worked his way forward in the McLaren, and they're looking for yet another rookie win, of course. Some good moves into the Variante Ascari. There might have been a little bit of contact, I think, on the way through the Variante Ascari chicane, as we have got the pit puncture repaired, or replaced, I should say, for Cansani. But they have now dropped to the back of the field, and they are on the verge of being lapped by the leaders as they come through this time. In fact, they are going to be lapped on the way through, as Alexander Hartwig is going to get his run on Rapanga down to the first corner. And they all run completely off the road as they go through there. So Robert Cansani comes out of the pit lane, and I'm afraid the speed car Audi is now a lap down. What a disaster. There's more damage to the car by the look of it. And that is the repaired number 98 Aston cruising at the back of the field, I'm afraid. So that is a puncture. That's the AGS car. Bouteiller, unfortunately, having problems, so they are now recovering back to the pits to get that repaired. But it looks like there's more damage to the speed car Audi than was first thought. Look at that. Flapping in the breeze, some carbon fiber components there on the back bumper. But out in front, Gabriele Piana having no issues whatsoever, as Alexander Hartwig, the talented youngster, trying to get Dante Rapanga thwarted and hoodwinked on the way through to the Della Roggia. Hartwig trying again, sweeps one way, sweeps the other, hoping that Rapanga misses the apex for the Lesmo, which he doesn't. Worms his way through. Trying again for the second Lesmo, but again, Rapanga is not going to let a move like that creep in. So Robert Cansani has managed to rejoin in front of Tom Edgar in the Borusan Automotive BMW, that has managed to get back past the elite McLaren, I do believe. Yes, indeed it has. So Tom Edgar is going to try and get the move, and obviously, oh dear, that speed car Audi is shedding bodywork big time on the run to the Variante Ascari. So that's a real danger. They are currently in 46th position and now a lap down on the leaders. So Tom Edgar gets through then in the Boddison Automotive BMW. But coming up to the Parabolica, this battle for second place still in earnest as now Tom Emsen looks to lap the speed car Audi, as they're being charged after by Lachenauer in the Aston Martin and Lenertz in the Mercedes. 54 minutes still to go in this hour-long race. Apparently, there is no transponder for the number 6 of Rory van der Steur, so that's why he's dropped out of the fray. And apparently it is, well, it's showing up as Jamie Day in the car, but if it's the opposite drivers to yesterday, it should be Rory van der Steur and not Jamie Day, who'll get into the car later. Now, apparently, the 46 and the 14 cars both cut turn 2. That is Sasha Botterman and the number 14 car further back, so that is going to be Salayers in the Audi. Some big battles all the way through this field. Oh, and that's the spin. That's Tom Emsen. Tom Emsen in the McLaren has spun it and joined off at the first corner there. So it looks as though Tom Emsen is really going to struggle to get the McLaren to the rookie win today. Then they drop to the back of the field. Big disappointment. Now, I don't know whether they were assisted or whether there was, if that was a lone move. I noticed that Lachenauer has not completed the first sector either. So I wonder if there was contact between the McLaren and the Aston Martin. We'll have to go back and have a look at it later. But certainly Emsen and Lachenauer are now no longer in the top 10. That's promoted Bourdie up into 8th position, who crossed the line in 12th at the end of the lap. There is Bourdie in front of Lenertz in the Mercedes, and then Verruti. So that is the battle between Fabien Bourdie and Alban Verruti for the AM victory, and they are now 8th and 10th places respectively. So Lachenauer and Emsen have both managed to get going again, but they are down at the back of the field. There is damage then for Lachenauer, just as much as there was yesterday. Yesterday it was a puncture. Today it looks like they've had some contact. Now, I don't want to speculate that it was with Emsen, but obviously Emsen and Lachenauer were together on the racetrack. Here's the move, battling for the move on the inside line. The Mercedes getting the move there. That's Lenertz passing, I should say, the 83 of Bourdie. As now Bourdie is going to battle away with Alban Verruti. This is the battle for the win in the AM category with the number 7 of Romain Carton in the Mirage Aston Martin. Battling side by side with them down the straight. And coming into view, that is going to be the Audi coming through as well. I think that was Botterman in the background getting through on Thurman in the Alpine. Yes, it was. So Botterman has managed to move the 46 Full Motorsport Audi into 5th position. Meanwhile, Lenertz battling away. Great performances. Did we have a car overshooting in the chicane? No, I don't think we did. So the Boddison Automotive BMW still hustling there, trying to work forward. Rabat Kansani has now slotted himself into some clean air, trying to make up some time. But Lefterov is going defensive on Rapanga. Second sector, yellow flags. I wonder if Lachenauer has stopped out on the circuit somewhere. So Lefterov hanging on in front of Rapanga in 3rd position. So let's have a look at the start again. Now look at the speed car Audi in 2nd. Wait for it, bang. There was a little nudge there from Lefterov, and that was enough to hold the speed car Audi up and cause a puncture. Let's have another look at it from the outer angle of the Rettifilio. Piana through in the lead, the speed car Audi through fine, but watch the Lefterov Porsche. You'll just see it. Bang, that's how there was damage then to the rear end, and that's how the winners yesterday ended up having problems. Now there's contact here as well. There you go, a little bit of nudging, and that's put carbon fiber onto the circuit on the exit of the second Lesmo. So problems there. And now side by side, this is for 2nd position. This is Lefterov and Rapanga. Rapanga trying to go right round the outside in the Chevrolet. That's going to be brave, and he's done it. Brilliant run from Rapanga, but he's going to run wide on the exit, and now watch for Hartwig in the Porsche trying to make his bid. They're still going to be side by side. Hartwig's going to try and get the slipstream of the Porsche. Lefterov's coming back at Rapanga in the Chevrolet, and they come down the straight side by side, dueling for 2nd. Porsche versus Chevrolet. And watch the gaggle of cars behind them as well. You've got Botterman in the Audi, Thurman in the Alpine, and Edgar in the BMW. Edgar's moved past the Alpine. Lefterov diving down the inside of the Chevrolet. There's a little bit of door banging. Oh, the chain reaction. Hartwig gets a little love tap from Botterman. Botterman gets a little love tap from Edgar. They just about get away with that. But this is quite the squabble for 2nd place now. And as a result of it, Gabriele Piana has now moved 5 seconds clear of them all. So this is game on for the Hoffa Racing by Bonk BMW team to get the victory after scoring a podium yesterday. They really want the win today. But Dante Rapanga hanging on to second position. Now that he's taken it away from Lefterov, he wants to hold on to it. So this is what happened. Rapanga having to go round the outside. Lefterov, look, he holds the curb, and as a result, he kind of nudges the back of the Chevrolet. As a result, he slows. Hartvig nudges, then Botterman nudges. So it's a chain reaction that comes through, and a little bit of carbon fiber shedding off the car. And there's Gonzalez. Look at the damage to the back bumper of the car. They're still going, but that's from the puncture that they sustained on the opening lap. Now, we are being told that there is fluid on the circuit, courtesy of one of the McLarens. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether that is Tom Emson or whether that is Michael Creese, but certainly there is potential fluid down on the circuit as a result, and a big tank snapper. Now, that could be the reason, as into the wall, just about nudging it, actually, Jamie Day in the Aston Martin. They went straight off in the Variante Ascari. Now, I don't know how much of that was fluid down on the circuit or that was just missing the braking point. But we are getting reports that there is fluid down on the circuit, courtesy of one of the McLarens, as Jessica Bachmann gets her move on the inside. Now, this is what happened to the McLaren. Whoa, bang! That was the number 20 Mercedes going in. So that was game over for Meyer. Meyer hitting the Mercedes of Michael Creese, I think. So that was only just what occurred, and no wonder fluid's gone down on the McLaren. There is the slippery oil flag to warn the drivers about it as they go through the Curva Grande. But I'm afraid that is very much game over, and damage to Lucas Meyer, who just got the braking slightly off. And look at that, there's pieces of carbon fiber on the exit of the Curva Grande as well, on the run to the Curva della Roggia. 47 minutes to go here. Whoops, a little bit of a mistake from Sasha Bodeman, just over the top of the curb. Fortunately, it didn't pitch him airborne. But Alexander Hartvig is now getting frustrated by the Bulgarian in front of him. Pavel Lefterov really trying to make Alexander Hartvig work. He's not going to be patient any longer, and Hartvig gets through into third position of the second Lesmo. Lovely job from Hartvig. And Tom Edgar will be happy, because now that puts him onto the back. Sasha Botterman is trying to get through on Lefterov, and Edgar's going to try and get through past both of them if he gets even half a width of a gap on the inside line. Hartvig up to third. Oh, they banged doors! Goodness me, that was close. And Sasha Bodeman hangs on in front of Lefterov to get the position, up into fourth position. And they've got Edgar and Tierman chasing them down. In the background, you can see Robert Cansani's speed car Audi yet to be lapped by the leader in the AM category. That is Fabian Buri in the other speed car Audi. So through to the Parabolica. Bodison Automotive BMW of Tom Edgar is going to get the run here off the corner, and there's nothing Lefterov can do except try and out-drag the BMW. Big size difference, of course, between the BMW and the Porsche, but side by side. It's a drag race now. Edgar versus Lefterov, and who's going to get to the braking zone first? Tucking in behind Sasha Botterman in the Audi. Very late braking indeed from Lefterov. Can he hold it? Very close to the apron there as he comes off the apex of the chicane. He used a lot of curb. Tom Edgar hoping that he's got a chance now. You can see the oil that's gone down on the road. But so far, it's in a decent enough position that it's not going to cause too many difficulties by the look of it. Tom Edgar having another go as Lefterov. Oh, Lefterov and Edgar kick up the carbon fiber between them. Lefterov holding his nerve at the Variante della Roggia. Is there going to be better acceleration from the BMW? He certainly thinks so. Tom Edgar swarming around. Not going to get the move there. Try again. Through Lesmo 1. And Tom Edgar really sliding the car out through Lesmo 1. Into the second Lesmo now. Back on the power. Up through the gears. A little bit of pressure from Simon Tierman in the Alpine behind. And behind them, that is the leader in the AM category, Fabian Buri. Romain Carton in the Aston Martin in front of Marcel Lenertz in the BCMC Eastside Motorsport Mercedes. Lefterov still having to go defensive from Tom Edgar. Edgar and Bessler fought their way to second place yesterday, almost got the victory. They had to back out of a rather audacious move into the Rettifilio. Tom Edgar being the sportsman and letting the speed car Audi number 3 get back into the lead. But it looks like neither car is going to get the victory the way things are currently played out. Robert Consani, of course, is a lap down. In fact, it's 2 laps down. They've come into the pits. So Robert Consani is back in pit lane. And I've got a feeling they're going to be out of the race, in fact. Yes, indeed, they've been in the pits for 3 minutes, 47 seconds, so they are not coming back out by the look of it. I'm afraid the winners from yesterday are out, along with Lachenauer in the Aston Martin, who is back out again. Duquer has been in the pits for 7 minutes or so. So big problems for several cars in the field as Edgar gets very close to Lefterov, tries to go round the outside. They're both going to miss the corner. So Edgar's going to have to concede to Sasha Botterman, but will he concede to Lefterov? Well, fascinating duel going on between the Borussen Automotive BMW and the Overdrive Racing Porsche. Really intriguing race. 5.5 seconds now between the BMW and the Chevrolet up front. And there is the speed car Audi out. Winners yesterday, DNF today. Very sad sight indeed that. Now there is an investigation going on between... Oh, and off the road goes the Alpine. That's the 35 car going off the road there. That is the code machine, that is Guijou. So Guijou has gone off the road, I'm afraid. And that is definitely going to compromise their chances of getting the victory in the silver category. They've dropped a long way down as a result. So Edgar trying again for Lefterov, who has got back through on Tom Edgar. Because obviously, I think the Borussen Automotive BMW team had to radio to him to say, look, you've got to give that place back. So that is exactly what they did. But now Tom Edgar can go after Pavel Lefterov once again. But he's got pressure of his own from the pint-sized Alpine of Simon Thiermann. Down to the braking zone. The AM Cup leaders in the background there. You can see the speed car Audi of Burri and Roch.
Drive-through penalty for car 20, causing a collision in turn 1 with car 78.
There we go, race director tells us of a penalty for the number 20, causing a collision. And they are down at the back of the field, I am told. So they're going to have a drive-through penalty for causing a collision with Michael Creasy in the McLaren, but round the outside of the Parabolica, Tom Edgar has just pulled the move on Pavel Lefterov in fantastic style. Lefterov is going to try and outbrake the BMW again into turn 1. Edgar pulls across to hold the line, and that was very close indeed to contact. They just about got away with it though. Now down to the braking zone. We've got another couple of great battles. This is Aston versus Audi, Mirage versus Santalok. As we've got a great battle, Emmet Hayadal trying to stay out of trouble with Christophe Hamon. Christophe Hamon is going for the victory, of course, in the Pro-Am category, trying to catch up to Loic Villisière in the Alpine. And we are yellow in Sector 3. There are yellow flags in Sector 3. So we need to figure out what has happened there. Obviously, we have 4 cars out of the race. The Mercedes number 15 didn't start. Bouteiller in the Aston and Duquet in the Porsche out of the race, and also the speed car that won, oh dear. That is the Mercedes that has gone off there at the Parabolica. So that is Grimaud, I'm afraid, the 87 car. Jordan Grimaud in the Armada Mercedes, and that is going to be full course yellow. The board is up, full course yellow in 10 seconds. So that is because the car is beached. Oh, a couple of cars not really noticing that until the last moment. Now, obviously, the full course yellow procedure means that everybody slows down and holds position. It is a slower procedure than a safety car. The safety car would bunch up the field and catch everybody up, but a full course yellow slows the field. And so they run in the positions they're in with the gaps that they are currently holding. Now, Rapanga just set the fastest second sector of the entire race in his bid to catch up with Gabriele Piana. Gap was 5.7 seconds. But they do look like they've got a chance to catch up again as Hartwig, Botterman and Edgar are running 3rd, 4th and 5th. Porsche, Audi and BMW. A terrific race in progress then for the final spot on the overall podium. And I'm afraid Jordan Grimaud is the one who has gone off at the Parabolica in the Armada Mercedes, number 87 in the Pro-Am category. So a bit of a headache for them. We're going to see that car as we come through, and the marshals, look at that. They are already on the scene. That is how fast they mobilize here in Monza. Of course, full course yellows means you can put a snatch vehicle on the road because the cars are going slow enough. Now, I thought for a moment there we were going to have the leaders in the AM category coming into the pits. They were so close to the pit wall, but obviously the pit stop window is not open yet. But full course yellows around the course for Jordan Grimaud, who has gone off the road on the final corner. So several cars obviously in dire straits. Trying to figure out if Michael Kreis in the McLaren is still circulating. I don't think he is. And I'm fairly sure the number 20 of Meyer that was down at the back of the field, they are currently down at the tail end of the field as well. And they've got a drive-through penalty, but I'm not sure if they're going to serve it because obviously, as far as I can tell, they are not circulating. By my mathematics, there are 40 cars still running, which means we've lost Grimaud for the time being, although they can get started again. There is the leader in the Pro-Am category. That is Villiger in the Code Racing Alpine. They got the win last night, of course, across the line. And there is the Mercedes just passing the scene, the other Mercedes being recovered. Now they should be able to get that car going again, and I have a feeling they'll go back to the pits just to assess the situation. But Gabriele Piana is leading the way at the moment from Dante Rapanga, and then it is Alexander Hardwig in third from Sasha Botterman and Tom Edgar. Pavel Leftorov in sixth place in front of Simon Timan. Then the leading AM car is the speed car Audi number 83 in 8th position. So we're going to see another angle, I do believe, of what happened to the McLaren. This is the moment. Here's Michael Kreis and wallop. That was a big hit from the Mercedes of Meyer. And as you can see, oh, goodness me, look at the fluid going everywhere over the circuit. Dear, oh dear. So no wonder it was pretty tricky at the Retifiglio chicane for a few laps. Amazingly, most of the fluid has actually exited the McLaren while it's been off the road. But certainly game over for the McLaren. No way that that car's going to continue any further than that, which is why obviously Michael Kreis only managed to complete 5 laps. Bitter disappointment for the team. And we are back under racing conditions again. That's how quickly they clear things up at Monza. Grazie mille tutti to the marshals. And now the battle can resume. Gabriele Piana and Dante Rapanga. In the background, Alexander Hardwig. What a race he's having in third position. He's going to hand over to his teammate Nathan Schaap later. Up in third position, the Allied Porsche team really have stormed it in race 2. There's Botterman in the full motorsport Audi, having a much better race than yesterday as well. Tom Edgar still in the hunt for victory in 5th place. Real shame that the speed car Audi that won yesterday is out of contention and out of the race. There is the 36 of the Code Alpine of Loic Villiger that leads the AM category at the moment. Leads the Pro-Am category, I should say. The AM category leader is, of course, Fabian Burri in the speed car Audi, and there's the move from Tom Edgar. Takes on Sasha Botterman. Down to the first corner. Can the BMW stop in time? The Audi's going to go long on the brakes, but that'll be job done for Tom Edgar. A great run from the Northern Irishman. Excellent performance, charging his way into the podium positions, just as he did yesterday. A stone's throw away from the win he was. And now we are going to continue the race battle in earnest. I'm not entirely sure whether Jordan Grimaud was able to keep going. They got him off the gravel trap. Whether he's actually still circulating or not, I'm not entirely sure. I think he is. But certainly every car behind Jordan Grimaud is now out of the race. That's Kreis in the McLaren, Meyer in the Mercedes, Consani in the Audi. Big disappointment for them because they retired yesterday. They won yesterday, they retired today. Whoops, a little bit of a trip up there for Hamon in the Audi, as he is still battling away with Emil Hayedal in the Mirage Aston. Duca is out in the Porsche, Lachinauer and Bouteille are out in their Aston Martins. This Aston Martin is still going strong. And of course, we didn't have a start from Papadopoulos in the Mercedes or from the Newbridge Aston Martin that was rather disappointingly dumped out of the race yesterday. They should have been fighting for the victory in their class, and no doubt they would have done in race 2 as well. Here we go. Hamon versus Hayedal. Who's got the biggest bravery into the Variante Ascari for the moment? It is Hamon. who holds on in front of Emil Heyerdahl. This is Pro-Am versus Silver. Meanwhile, we've got Silver versus Silver battling away. This is Lefterov going around the outside of Sasha Botterman, I do believe. So Edgar's got through, and now Lefterov's got through. And Samon Timan is going to try his move to get through. The pit window is now open. So driver changes galore will no doubt come the way as Emil Heyerdahl gets back on the inside. This time he gets the overtaking move. And as a result, Christophe Hamon thinks, you know what, let's change. So into the pits. We're going to get a massive driver changes now as Villigier has come in, Cugnon has come in the Audi, and so has the BMW number 11 of Enzo Juliet. So a lot of changes. And Loic Villigier will get out of the car, and he will hand the number 36 car over to his teammate. Frantic pit work activity as the pit window opens. And there are several changes now. So this is where things are going to get quite hectic as everybody filters back out onto the race circuit again after the pit stops. I don't think Jordan Grimaud, their car, has restarted. I think they're out of the race. So by my mathematics, we've now got 40 cars in the race. There is the number 6 as Rory van der Steur gets out of the car and Jamie Day gets in it. So it was that way round. So a fascinating situation for the contenders, but Gabriele Piana is now 3.6 seconds in front of Dante de Panga. There the two of them are. 8.6 seconds behind the Chevrolet is Alexander Hartwig. Edgar and Lefterov having moved up in the BMW and Porsche past Sasha Botterman in the Audi. So Enzo Juliet is actually getting out onto the circuit. It was his teammate that brought the car into the pits. So there is Enzo Juliet, who started the race yesterday. He will finish the race today. Quite a few drivers flicking the switch as they come into the pits, making it a little bit complex. And there is the Alpine battling away for the Pro-Am victory. So they are still having a great tussle. That's Antoine Leclerc, who is, of course, behind the wheel now. Of course, no relation to either Charles or Arthur. Just a very common surname in the French-speaking part of the world. Around the outside of Jessica Bachmann, or that's Andreas Bachmann now, actually, because Andreas has made the pit stop. So Andreas has now taken over the Pro Sport Aston Martin, and they're going wheel to wheel with the Toyota. Very nearly banging doors. Goodness me, that was close. Antoine Botti is now at the wheel of that Toyota. Etienne Chilly having been the one to start it, but Antoine Botti getting through on Andreas Bachmann. Toyota versus Aston Martin there. And there is the BMW that leads the race. Gabriele Piana now lapping traffic. Whoa, big moment for the Allied Porsche. And in all of this, Pavel Lefterov has caught up to Alexander Hartwig. Hartwig is really struggling now. Oh no, that's the lapped car, that's the sister car. I do apologise, that is the 35th car in the race. That is Jordan Wallace in the sister Allied Porsche, trying to get out of the way without causing any issues. So Alexander Hartwig is still going well. I thought he might have had a problem, but no, that is the sister car of Jordan Wallace. As into the pits comes Lopez Gutierrez in the 67 Audi. So that is the Santos Junior car battling for the silver win. Traffic is working their way through there, but Fabian Bouri is trying to thwart an onslaught from the AVR Avatar Porsche, and by overtaking, they have managed to make that a little bit easier for themselves for the time being. Down in the braking zone, and Aston on Mercedes there, I believe, as into the pits comes the race leader. There you go, that is Gabriele Piana, and he will hand the car over to Michael Schrey, the German driver. And so into the lead from 3.1 seconds ahead. That puts the Chevrolet V8 racing car into the lead of the race for the time being. And up to the pit stops has come the Boddison Automotive BMW, the Porsche from Overdrive, the All Motorsport Audi, and the Alpine from the Autosport Group. So all of those cars come in together. It becomes a pit stop race in essence. There is Tom Emsen in the pits, handing the car over to Joshua Radican. So they're going to continue on their march. Very unfortunate. One McLaren might go all the distance and the other might splutter in the first 5 laps over the course of these two races, but they're going to swap cars in order to do that. Oh no, sorry, it was the 78 car that dropped out in the first 5 laps as well yesterday. So very unfortunate that neither race sees the number 78 McLaren Artura even lasting the first 10 laps. And on both occasions, it wasn't driver error that put them out. So into the Variante Ascari, there is the 42 car, the Santalok Audi of Gregory Gilbert, who of course battled for the win yesterday, not just in the class but also overall. And there is the current race leader, that is Dante Rapanga in the Chevrolet, currently leading the race in front of Alexander Hartwig, who in the background you can see the Allied Porsche still working its way through the traffic. So there is the Chevrolet coming in. The pit window is open. Is this going to be Reponge coming into the pits? It is indeed. So the Chevrolet is going to hand over then to Kenny Hermans. They've led very well indeed. So Dante Reponge coming into the pits. Very nice indeed. And then it is Alex Hartwig who will take over the lead of the race unless they are also pitting on the same lap, which they are not. So the Allied Porsche goes through to take the lead for the time being. And into the pits comes the AVR Avatar Porsche. That's the car that's battling for the AM category victory. Alban Veruti coming in. Repage hands over then to Kenny Hedemans, the Chevrolet V8 racing car. Are they going to get out in front of Michael Schrey, but also out in front of the Borussen Automotive BMW of, well, it was Tom Edgar. It's now, of course, Berkay Bessler who is in the car. So there is Michael Schrey, currently going through the Variante Ascari. Look at the gravel that's come off onto the circuit over the last few laps. 40 cars still circulating. The very last of those, unfortunately, is Josh Ratikin in the McLaren, having been looking good for the rookie win earlier in the day. We're just waiting to see if Michael Schrey can come through in the BMW and take the lead back again from the Chevrolet. There goes Kenny Hermans. Is it going to be BMW that leads or Chevrolet? I guess it's probably going to be BMW as they come through down the straight. They're going to get up to speed much quicker than the Chevrolet will, and it will be the BMW that takes the lead, no question about that. A good outlap then from Michael Schrey, and the Chevrolet will slot back in second position net. So it's Alexander Hartwig that currently leads the race in front of Fabian Buri, who of course is leading the AM category at the moment in the speed car Audi number 83. And the Mirage Aston Martin is still out, that's Romain Carton. So as they come through, a very intriguing situation. There is the sole remaining McLaren that is currently down in 40th position. Very unfortunate indeed for the team. They had such high hopes coming into race 2 for both a challenge for the win in the Rookie Cup and the Pro-Am Cup. And now both have gone from the elite McLaren. There is Fabian Buri coming into the pits. So the leading car in the AM category, and also Alex Hartwig in the Allied Porsche has come in. So that is going to be the new lead for Michael Schrey in the BMW. He will inherit the lead of the race. And now it's all going to be about what the second drivers can do side by side. That is the AVR Avatar Porsche getting out of the way. They are, of course, still battling for the win. Julien Piguet is now behind the wheel. But where have they come out in relation to the speed car Audi? That is the 46 behind them, I do believe. So that is Lonnie Martin in the all motorsport Audi, in fact, not the speed car Audi. Down to the braking zone, into the Variante Ascari chicane. And we watch Lonnie Martin going for the move now on the AVR Avatar. Diving through, Julien Piguet trying to hold on, but not going to happen on this occasion. And there is the number 11 of Enzo Juliet just in behind, the Borussen Automotive BMW. So obviously the number 10 Porsche is very important here because we need to see where the Julien Piguet Porsche is on track compared to Fabian Buri. And they're being held up on this lap. Around the outside goes the Alpine. I have a feeling this is going to give the lead back to the Fabian Buri and Roche speed car Audi. So the speed car Audi will come out onto the circuit again, and they are going to retain the lead then in the AM category. A little bit of hold up in the traffic, I'm afraid, so speed car Audi will take the lead back again in the AM category. Nicely done, nicely handled, and diving up the inside of the All Motorsport Audi, a big overshoot from Enzo Juliet. Just got a little bit of a tight apex through, and I'm not sure if they're going to have to concede the place. They decide to do so. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't. So clearly moving over and letting them have the place. But out in front, there is the new leader again, Michael Schrey, out in the lead of the Hoffa Racing by Bonk BMW. They have inherited the lead back again. And this is going beautifully. 24 minutes to go. So it's all going perfectly to plan for the Hoffa Racing by Bonk BMW squad. Michael Schrey having taken over from Gabriele Viana. They were third yesterday, and now they are going to go on the run to the victory if things continue as they are. Kenny Hennemans is now in second position. Let's see what the gap is back to the Chevrolet. There it is. So the gap is about 9.3 seconds, the last count. Oh no, sorry, that was from Shap Taburi. So the gap between Schrey and Hennemans is actually 5.8 seconds. Then that's one of the Aston Martins, but that car is being lapped. That's the AGS car. So there's the Porsche of Nathan Shap, currently running in third place, the Allied Porsche. So it's as they were. Josh Radican is trying to get himself back into a good position, following in the slipstream of the Porsche of the Overdrive team, and diving up the inside and lapping themselves. Why not, says Josh Radican. We're in last place anyway. If we're quicker than the Porsche, let's get rid of them. And they do. So obviously a big challenge moving forward. There is the number 13 Porsche, that is Joachim Bolting, having had some problems, I gather. And there is a slow-moving Allied Porsche. Now, is that Alexander Hartwig? Or I should say, is that Nathan Shap? No, that is Jordan Wallace. That's the sister car, going slowly, but clearly with damage. Is that a puncture, or is that... Yeah, it's a puncture on the left, oh, sorry, on the right rear, I should say. So big problems there for, I think, Jordan Wallace in the 44 car. You can see in the background that Nathan Sharp is still there in the third place Allied Porsche in the Silver Cup. And now the sister Allied Porsche is going slowly and working his way forward. So Michael Schrey in front of Kenny Hennemans and Nathan Sharp. Then Berkey Bessler is there in the BMW for Boddison Automotive in fourth. Pavel Lefterov is in the Porsche in fifth position, and then it is Mark de Fulgencio Fare in the first of the Mercedes cars, and Louis Merrick is in the Aston Martin number 7 for Mirage in seventh position. So there is Nathan Sharp in the Allied Porsche, third position at the moment for them, looking very good to be one of the youngest crews on the podium for quite some time. So Nathan Sharp and Alex Hartwig running a very smooth race here in third position. Not that long ago, they were in the karting world. And here they are in GT4, really stepping up their attack and showing the world what they can do. There is Berkey Bessler in the Boddison Automotive BMW. Josh Radican is next on the road, but he is down in dead last, unfortunately. Trying to recover. Pavel Lefterov, Mark de Fulgencio Fare, Louis Merrick, and then Fabien Bourret, who is the leader in the 83 car, the speed car team. It shouldn't be Fabien Bourret. I think they've just forgotten to flick the switch there, because that should be Hugo Roche in the car. And there is the leading car in the 36, the Pro-Am Cup leaders for Code Racing. It was Louis Villigier, now it is Antoine Leclerc, who is captaining the Code Alpine car forward. On the left of your screen, you can see the order in the Silver Cup alone. There are 20 of the cars still running, but there are some big names missing, most notably, of course, the speed car Audi that won yesterday. That is not going any further forward. So the Santalog Junior Team Audi losing out there. That's the 42 car of Grégoire Guilvert losing out to Antoine Potti. Losing out for position on the road, but he is still the second best AM Cup car out there. And they've obviously still got a good battle to come from them. So Grégoire Guilvert is behind Antoine Leclerc in the Alpine, but they are significantly in front of the number 18 Mercedes, the 18 Aston Martin, I should say, of Markus Lundstrass in the TSR Team Spirit car, which is currently running down in 23rd overall, but still looking good for the podium in class, and that is what counts. Now, Enzo Juliet has moved forward in 8th position, ahead of Lonnie Martin, Gaël Castelli, and Paul Cauhape in the 110 Alpine. So lots of cars moving forward. Here is Gaël Castelli, now dueling away with Lonnie Martin down the straight. And Gael Castelli is gunning for a chance to go for the victory. He can't go through on the inside there, too high risk. In the background, we saw Julien Biguet trying to close up on the speed car Audi. That is for position, that is for the victory in the AM category. So that's worth looking at, because we've got Hugo Roche and Julien Biguet battling away for the victory in the background in the AM category. It says that it's Fabien Bouri, but I'm fairly sure that is Hugo Roche who is in the car. So still we squabble for position, and in the AM category it is definitely game on between the speed car Audi and the AVR Avatar Porsche. There's also a battle on the main straight, as trying to tuck out, that is Gael Castelli trying to go for 9th position on Lonnie Martin. And Antoine Leclerc has moved past Ruben Del Sartre in the number 5 Mirage Aston. And Gael Castelli completes the move there on the full motorsport Audi of Lonnie Martin. So the treble one of Gael Castelli for CSA Racing moves forward. 9th position, now setting off after Enzo Juliet in the Borissan Automotive BMW. I love the way the pendulum keeps swinging between these cars and drivers in GT4. Lots of overtaking, lots of good battles, and the class wins are going to go right to the wire. Antoine Leclerc has now managed to put Ruben Del Sartre and Antoine Botti in the Aston Martin and Toyotas, respectfully, between himself and Gregory Gilbert in the Santodoc Junior Audi in the quest for the Pro-Am victory. 3rd in Pro-Am is the Aston Martin from TSR Team Spirit of Marcus Dunstras, who has now managed to take the car over from Lonnens Stegman. And here is that battle for the Pro-Am victory. You've got Antoine Leclerc in the Pro-Am lead, now hustling the AM cars of the 83 and the number 10. So the overall battle for 4th position is currently between Bessler and Edgar. Trying up the inside, this is the move that changed the lead, and there goes the AVR Avatar Porsche, getting the move there to make the lead come to them. Julien Biguet is vanquished for the moment, is getting through for the moment. So an excellent run from the Porsche of Julien Biguet. He manages to get through past Hugo Roche. And Antoine Leclerc has got through as well. So Antoine Leclerc holding on to the Pro-Am victory, going with it. Is the speed car Audi going to be able to hang on from the hard-charging Ruben Del Sartre in the Mirage Aston, who's now trying to get his own way through? So Ruben Del Sartre is going to try and make his bid down the straight. Hugo Roche definitely struggling a little bit here, but the AVR Avatar Porsche takes the lead in the AM category, with the Pro-Am category leaders, Antoine Leclerc and Loic Villiger, following in behind in the Alpine. Here comes the challenge from Ruben Del Sartre. A big dive from the Alpine, careful! Pro-Am leader versus AM leader. They almost hit each other. Fortunately, the AVR Avatar Porsche takes avoiding action before they come into contact. So they're going to have to concede, I think, there. There is a warning flag for Lonnie Martin for cutting turn 5 on multiple occasions. He's got to be very careful. But there is also an unsafe release from the pits noted for the number 44 car. That is the Allied Porsche. And that's for their 2nd visit to the pits. So problems there for 2 cars. Out the inside there is the Mirage Aston, holding on in front of Antoine Botti in the Toyota. And next up is Gregory Gilbert in the Santodoc Junior Audi. Behind them is Lopez Gutierrez in the 87 Audi. And they are currently running in the 67 car in 18th position as it stands at the moment. Then Andreas Bachmann in the Pro Sport Aston. Here comes the move again. Antoine Leclerc trying to go for the move on the inside of Julien Biguet. Pro-Am versus AM. Thank you very much, that'll do. So Antoine Leclerc getting through on Julien Biguet as they run through. There is Andreas Bachmann in the British Racing Green Aston from Pro Sport, closing up on Lopez Gutierrez, trying to make his overtaking bid. The Mirage Aston trying to make an overtaking move as well. Here's the Borissan Automotive BMW of Enzo Juliet, having closed up and passed Merrick. And this is for 2nd place now. This is Heremans versus Schaap. No, sorry, it isn't. Schaap is still a further way back. I thought Schaap had caught up, but that is still the 44 car of Jordan Wallace. There is Nathan Schaap in the background. I thought that Schaap was catching, but not quite catching to that tune. Heremans has just done a 1:58.2. Schaap has done a 1:57.6. One of the fastest cars on track at the moment. The fastest car on track at the moment is Gael Castelli in the CSA Racing Audi. Treble 1 car that is closing up rapidly on Louis Merrick in the Mirage Racing Aston Martin in number 7. So there is Berke Bessler in the BMW. We look back, there's the McLaren Artura that is down at the back of the field. And now we've got some cars to battle with. Here we go, Lefterov versus Juliet. Juliet on the inside line, and that'll move them up. So Enzo Juliet gets past the overdrive Porsche, and that puts the Borusan Automotive BMWs into 4th and 6th now. That will change, obviously, when they go over the timing strip. And here comes Louis Merrick. Louis Merrick wants to get through in the Aston Martin. Pavel Lefterov doing his best to hang on, but on the run to the Variante Ascari, a better exit out of Lesmo 2, and that is what has put Louis Merrick in front. And what about Lonnie Martin? Lonnie Martin is dropping back rapidly. Gael Castelli is going to be the next one to go for the move on Pavel Lefterov. Lefterov is hanging on. Gael Castelli looking very sharp. So Castelli is going to get the run down to the Parabolica once again. Down the back stretch. Into the corner, sorry, which is now known as the Variante Alboreto to the purists. It's still Parabolica. Down on the inside line, Gael Castelli taking a big gamble, deciding at the very last moment to bail out of it, as Pavel Lefterov holds on to the place for the moment. But here comes Gael Castelli once again, charging his way forward, down the straight, almost right off the road and over that white line. We've got 13 minutes plus some change, or less some change, I would say, to battle away for the victory now. Down to the braking zone, Lefterov being very careful how he duels with the Mirage Aston of Merrick and the CSA Audi of Castelli. But Pavel Lefterov really has to hold on, and now comes the move from Gael Castelli. He's got good speed out of the Rettifilio. He's got space. Pavel Lefterov leads to leave him some space there again on the outside. Down to the braking zone for the Variante della Rossia. Lefterov is going to brake late. Castelli's going to go round the outside. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful from Gael Castelli in the CSA Racing Audi. That was a hard move to pull off on Pavel Lefterov, but he made it look like child's play. Excellent work. So the CSA Racing Audi now moves up then into 8th position past Pavel Lefterov, and the car that's coming up behind them now is Paul Cahop in the Alpine, number 110, making steady progress. And Paul Cahop, sorry, looking to take on Pavel Lefterov in the Porsche. Still, we have the leading Pro-Am of Antoine Leclerc in the Code Racing Alpine, and still we have the leading AM car of Julien Biguet in the AVR Avatar Porsche. So that is looking pretty straightforward for the time being. But the battles still rage around the course here at Monza. You can see the Pro-Am and AM leaders in the background. But in the foreground, we're going to see if Paul Cahop can pressurize Pavel Lefterov into a mistake in the Parabolica. The answer for the moment is no. But still, the duels up front are pretty even Steven. Michael Schrey has pulled out 9.5 seconds on Kenny Heremans. Nathan Schaap is only 1.6 seconds back now from the Chevrolet, which is desperately trying to hang on to 2nd place. 48 cars started, 40 cars are still running. We've lost 2 Astons, we've lost 3 Mercedes, we've lost a Porsche, a McLaren, and into the chicane, just battling away Pavel Lefterov, desperately trying to hold on in front of Paul Cahop. Meanwhile, Ruben Del Sart in the Mirage Aston number 5 has got past Lopez Gutierrez in the Audi from the 67 crew. That is the Santalot Junior, the red machine, as opposed to the blue machine. And even further back, it is an overtaking move from Stanislav Safronov in the NM Racing Mercedes. They managed to get the move on Antoine Beltoise in the Anthony Beltoise in the Santalot Junior team car, I should say, at the expense of the 68 of Julien Lambert in the AGS car. And now we've got a little battle developing here as the Borusan Automotive BMW of Enzo Juliet has caught up to Marc de Virgencio Vare, the leading Mercedes in 5th. Still Paul Cahop all over the back of Pavel Lefterov in the Porsche. And here we go, Porsche versus Alpine, side by side out of Lesmo 2, side by side along the straight. They go under the Monza Napoli Bridge, and there's the Boddison Automotive car getting into 5th place. Juliet gets past Mark de Fulgencio Ferrari. And here on the outside, is this going to be the Alpine through? Yes, it is. Brilliant run from Paul Cahab as he gets through on Pavel Lefterov. So Alpine overtakes Porsche in the same breath as BMW overtakes Mercedes ahead of them. 9.5 minutes to go. And still plenty of duels. Antoine Leclerc in the background in the Alpine, getting closer to Lonnie Martin in the full motorsport Audi. But Lonnie Martin is now going to try and take on Lefterov. He'll be the next one to go for the move. So a great battle for the Alpine out in front of Lefterov. Got a replay. Now this is the 53 BMW. Whoops! That was not according to plan for Jamie Day, and that was Massi Tresoldi in the WND Racing Team BMW. They got going again, so no major concerns. And that's the Alpine still dueling with Pavel Lefterov. Cahab is not finding it easy to get away from Lefterov at all, and now Lonnie Martin is going to have his bid. It was a bit of a twitch on the curbs for Pavel Lefterov. So Lonnie Martin is going to try and go for 10th place here. Through the Curva Grande. Antoine Leclerc still the Pro-Am leader. Julien Piguet still the Am leader, but have now fallen behind the Toyota. Lonnie Martin swarming around behind Pavel Lefterov. Lefterov going defensive in the Della Rosia chicane. Over the top of the curves. Lonnie Martin's got a better run. He's going to try and squeeze it in the inside of the Lesmo. Into Lesmo 1. Lefterov round the outside. Oh, so close between these two. Porsche versus Audi. Having a great run of it. Very, very close indeed. And watch out for the Alpine behind. That is Antoine Leclerc that leads the Pro-Am Cup. So down the straight, up towards the Variante Ascari once again. Lonnie Martin tries again on Pavel Lefterov. He goes for the conventional overtake, and this time he gets it, not for the want of defense from Pavel Lefterov. Tiny bit of paint traded, but that will do as far as the move is concerned for Lonnie Martin. So then Pavel Lefterov is left to defend from the Pro-Am leader, who goes flashing on the blinkers. Oh, and that's the speed car going off in the background. Is that Hugo Roche? And that's on the run to the Variante Ascari. It is the 83. That is the car that was battling for the win in the Am category, Hugo Roche. The car comes to a stop. Now, they found a marshal post. Now, that could be a full course yellow. We'll have to wait, but that's Hugo Roche, I think, in the number 83 speed car. Audi dropping out of the race in the battle for the victory. We're going to see what happened. Oh, yeah, that's expired. Very unfortunate indeed. Speed car Audi had a great Saturday and an absolutely miserable Sunday. So it's game over for them. That is going to promote Laurent Gergon in the 55, the Autosport Alpine, up into 2nd place. So him and Alain Ferté currently running in 2nd, and up to 3rd in the category is going to be the GPA Aston of Florent Grisot and Kevin Jimenez. But here is the battle for 3rd position. Berke Bessler has caught up to Nathan Sharp. This is going to be a great battle. The BMW trying to get onto the podium again. Slippery oil flags, of course, because the expired Audi is just there. So they have to be careful that the car could be slippery into the Variante Ascari chicane. But look at Berke Bessler. All over the back of Nathan Sharp. The Allied Porsche hanging on from the Boddison Automotive BMW, but this BMW really can attack the curbs and get lots of speed through the S's. Down to the braking zone again. Nathan Sharp is holding cover on the inside line. Berke Bessler around the outside. No, you don't, says Nathan Sharp. So Berke Bessler had to get out of the throttle on the way through the outside of the apex. So now Porsche versus BMW continues. But out in front, Michael Schrey has got it all his own way. 8.9 seconds ahead of Kenny Hedemans in the Chevrolet. But this is for 3rd position. Can we have 2 BMWs on the podium? Nathan Sharp trying every trick in the book to thwart the attack from Berke Bessler. And it's good enough for now. The Allied Porsche hangs on a little longer. Great driving off the turn. Berke Bessler tries
75, 10-second time penalty for causing a collision.
Well, that was kind of to be expected, really, from earlier on. A 10-second time penalty for the 75. That is the Century Porsche Ticino of Ivan Giacomo and Nicolas Lidviller. So I'm afraid they have been given a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision. There was an investigation into the full motorsport Audi of Roman Wozniak and Noam Abramczyk for full course yellow speeding, but there is no further action taken, so they have been acquitted of that. But this battle is still going strong for third overall and third in the Silver Cup as well. Nathan Sharp, number 22, the Allied Porsche, versus Berkey Bessler, number 12, in the Boddison Automotive BMW. The duel for third position in the GT4 European Series Race 2 here in Monza with 4 minutes to go. And I'm delighted to say that although we've had a full course yellow, we haven't had a safety car. Touch wood. Don't worry, I'm doing it, folks. So it's going to be a really intriguing battle for all of the contenders as they continue to battle away for position. So we're going to see how things continue to progress down to the braking zone. The Boddison Automotive BMW still hustling. There is the AVR Avatar Porsche that looks good for the win in the AM category, currently in 13th place. A long way in front of Hergon in the Alpine and Jimenez in the Aston. But they are looking good, Julien Piguet and Alban Veruti. They won yesterday, they really want to win again today, and it looks good. It's not done yet though, 3 minutes 15 on the clock, and they are 13th position. Here we go! Now Bessler has gone in front of Sharp, but Sharp is going to try and come back. That's a very big BMW you've got to try and squeeze around the outside of, Nathan. But Berkey Bessler has put the Boddison Automotive BMW into third position for the moment, ahead of Nathan Sharp. And also, we've got an issue for Lonnie Martin. Lonnie Martin seems to have dropped away. There he is. Lonnie Martin has parked the car by the look of it. So I'm afraid Lonnie Martin in the full motorsport Audi, they've parked that car up between the Lesmos. And I'm afraid Lonnie Martin appears to be out of this race. But this man is about to come through to win it if things keep going the way they are. Michael Schrey having a very smooth run. So I'm afraid the full motorsport Audi is going to join the ranks of the speed car Audis on the sidelines. And that means we're only going to have 38 cars making it to the flag. Although 40 cars, I believe, are going to be classified because they will have completed over 75% distance. So through they come across the apron to go down to the Parabolica for the penultimate time, I do believe. So the 46 car, that is Lonnie Martin, has stopped after turn 6. That's confirmation. But look at this. Kenny Heremans is not safe yet in second place. The tyres of that Chevrolet do seem to be falling away. The quickest car on track at the moment appears to be this one, Berkey Bessler in the Boddison Automotive BMW. If they manage to catch traffic unawares on the final lap, Kenny Heremans, they might still lose out here. So down the straight we go. Yellow flag into the first sector. What's happened at the first corner? And that's what's happened. It's the 13 Porsche of Joachim Bolting. And I think they've got a problem with the left rear there. On to the final lap we go. And this is going to be tight. This isn't over yet for the Boddison Automotive BMW to hold third position. I think they're still going to have pressure from Nathan Sharp. Josh Radican is just amusing himself now, having climbed up to 36th position and setting some fast lap times. They're actually the quickest car on circuit at the moment, the McLaren. Very unfortunate indeed. They've set a time of a 1:56.952. It's not the fastest lap of the race, but they're currently going 1:57.3s. Also, Juliet is going quickly now. He's just done a 1:57.0. So the Boddison Automotive BMWs are really going fast. But they're going to run out of time to do anything significant here, I'm afraid. Nathan Sharp has done everything he can to put the Allied Porsche onto the overall podium. But Berkey Bessler got the better of him in the closing stages. Kenny Heremans in the Chevrolet, running in second position, running a good run. Josh Radican, just for argument's sake, showing us what might have been for the McLaren Artura. Hopefully they will be stronger in the second round of the championship. But as you can see, there's a little bit of snaking under braking there for these cars. The Boddison Automotive BMW is going to come home in third. The V8 Racing Chevrolet is going to come through in second, but this is the car that's going to get the victory. Gabriele Piana and the man behind the wheel, Michael Schrey, have been absolutely metronomic since their pole position at the start of the race. They haven't looked out of sorts or out of place at any point during this race. It will be a victory in brilliant fashion. Well done to the Hoffa Racing by Bonk crew. Gabriele Piana and Michael Schrey take the win here at Monza. It is the Chevrolet in second place. What a jump up that is from Pro-Am to Silver from one year to the next. A great run from Kenny Hellemans. And here comes the Pro-Am winners. As long as they negotiate the final corner perfectly well, Bessler brings the Borusan Automotive BMW home in third in the Silver Cup and overall. But here comes the leader, Antoine Leclerc. Along with Loic Villigier, they bring the Code Alpine home to a clean run to 10th overall and the Pro-Am victory. And we'll look back because the AM victory is going to come the way of the AVR Avatar Porsche as well for Julien Piguet, along with his teammate, Alban Veruti. What a great result. There is the AVR Avatar Porsche across the line in 14th place. Gregory Guilbert brings the Santalok Junior Audi home second in Pro-Am. Philippe Varva brings his Mercedes home third in the AM category. Lovely result for the lovely young man, Philippe Varva. Again, after the misery of yesterday, it's great they get the podium today in Pro-Am after a very tough race. And that's at the expense, I'm afraid, of several other drivers around them who could have had a much stronger run of it, but Philippe Varva doing a great job in third place. And also behind Antoine Leclerc, behind Julien Piguet, it was Laurent Hergon in the Alpine that brought their car home in second place, the 55 crew for Autosport Group. And then in third position in the AM category, it is the 72 of Kevin Jimenez in the Aston Martin GPA that he shares with Florent Grisot. Very unfortunate that we saw the speed car Audi drop out of the victory hunt in both AM and Silver. But certainly for Michael Schrey and Gabriele Piana, that is a very worthy victory. There is contact noted post-flag between the 44 car of Jordan Wallace, the 25 car of the Audi. Now that is going to be the 25 Audi, oh, I'm not totally sure, I think not 25, I think it might be a different car, but the 93 of Dor, I think it might be Briche actually that they're investigating there potentially, but we'll pick that up later. The car number 19 has stopped on track between turns 7 and 8 in the closing stages. That is Andreas Bachmann in the Aston Martin. Very unfortunate indeed, pulling off on the last lap. What a shame for the Bachmann siblings, as they do not complete the race, but fantastic racing from the GT4 European Series again. Double victory for the AVR Avatar crew in the AM Cup. Piguet and Veruti have done it again, but not without a tough fight. They really did have a strong battle out there on the course, as everybody is now making their way back to the paddock, apart from the winning crew. What a fabulous battle at the races it was. And here are your provisional results. Hoffa Racing by Bonk getting the victory in the BMW. 7.7 seconds clear of the V8 Chevrolet, and the Borusan Automotive BMW picking up another podium. Second yesterday, third today. A great run from Schappen Hartwig in the Allied Porsche. Julien Guedic in the second of the Borusan Automotive BMWs. And the leading Mercedes was the number 4 car at the Fulgencio Fari and Lenertz. 10th overall is the leading AM car. That is Antoine Leclerc and Loic Villigier. And in 13th position, it is actually 14th position, my apologies, Alban Veruti and Julien Piguet in the Porsche from AVR Avatar. Some good battles all the way through. A podium finish for Laurent Hergon in the 55 Alpine, along with Kevin Jimenez in the Aston Martin. They inherited that from the speed car Audi. And Gregory Guilbert brings the Santalok Audi home in second place in the Pro-Am category. And then Philippe Varva and Jakob Knoll were able to bring the Mercedes home in 19th to get third in that category as well. A tough race, flotsam and jetsam wherever you look. Sadly, a non-finish in the end for the Pro Sport Aston Martin on the last lap. And the full motorsport Audi, the team speed car Audis, both of them pulling over. The Armada Mercedes, the elite McLaren Artura, the East Side Mercedes and the Sorg Rennsport Porsche unable to get to the victory. Neither were Lachenauer and Butteya in their Aston Martins either. But how about this? Gabriele Piana and Michael Schrey, the winners here in fantastic fashion. And Gemma Scott is down there to greet our winners.
Gabriele, Michael, a fantastic result. Yeah. I mean, that was just textbook really, wasn't it?
Yeah, everything went well. We knew from the beginning that a lot of it would have depended on the start. I didn't have the best start in the world, but it was still okay. And yeah, we knew that if we could be in the front and do our own thing, and luckily in the back there was a little bit of like crashing about, and there you go. Now it's fine. Yeah, they were like a little bit messy behind, and which is normal. So we could take advantage and save a little bit the tires, and yeah. Then as soon as we had some traffic, we pitted. So everything went like super smooth. To be fair, we were even lucky with the Code 60 not turning into a safety car. So like perfect day.
Absolutely perfect indeed, Michael. Still rather warm, having just got out the car. It's hot down here, isn't it?
It is hot, but it was a great car today to drive, and I had a great teammate who did a fantastic first stint, and so yeah, just a great race for the team and for us.
Congratulations to both of you, well done.
And that is what it means to them. Third yesterday, the win today. The BMW charges its way forward after a fabulous hour of motorsport here at Monza, and it's a worthy win for Gabriele Piana and Michael Schrey. It's very hard to go through an entire hour race and say you guys did nothing wrong, and they absolutely were perfect. So over at the winning crew at Pro-Am, Antoine Leclerc is down there with Gemma Scott.
A class win is always on the objective list for the weekend, right?
Yes, exactly. It was the objective today to take our revenge from yesterday. We did an amazing job yesterday also, and we get a penalty, a bit unfair for me. The penalty not, but the 35 seconds, yes, compared to other drivers who get 10 seconds. But today, I'm happy. Loic did an amazing job in this first stint, and I finish it.
You certainly did. Loic, talk us about that first stint. How did you find it?
I just took care of the car because I didn't want to make the same mistake as yesterday with the crash with the 8 car. I'm sorry about that again. And I was just conservative at the start, but I took the opportunity when they came to us. And I think I gave the car back to Antoine in P10 overall, so a great stint. I'm happy about that. I'm happy for the team. They did a great job. I'm happy for the sponsors. We wouldn't be there without them, you know, so yeah, I'm glad. And did an amazing job. He just destroyed the opposite, so yeah.
That's a great way to start the season. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. You have a good one.
A little bit bitter, Antoine Leclerc, after his penalty yesterday that robbed them of the victory at the end of the first race, but they put it right today in the second race, and that is some recompense for what we saw. But there is one crew that got the job done across both races after a fabulous run. This car, the AVR Avatar Porsche, won yesterday's first race, and it won again today. Great work from Alban Ferruti and Julien Piguet. A very strong race from both cars and both drivers, and a great competition for the Porsche to come through and win its class as well. Good to see the number 16 crew getting a podium this time. The NM Racing Team Mercedes of Jacob Knoll and Philippe Varver. They will be third on the podium, but there is a very happy pair of drivers in second position overall, and in the Chevrolet V8 racing car, as Kenny and Dante did a fantastic job. So let's catch up with Alban Ferruti and Julien Piguet after their fabulous double win.
We were just saying how many entries there are, and what a fantastic result for you guys to have the double win this weekend.
That's an amazing weekend. As we say in Italian, Veni Veni Vinci. It's a perfect one. What a pole, 2 wins. It's a great beginning for the team, for us, for Julien, for me. So such an amazing weekend.
And it sets you up nicely to go into the rest of the season, right? It's how you want to be.
We are keeping to push every race, to be solid, to be regular. My second stint today was very difficult because I didn't have radio with my team manager, and I finished with flat tires. So the last 3 laps I was very, very stressful, but we won, and Alban did an amazing start, amazing first stint. So thank you to the team, thank you SRO, and thank you Italia.
Congratulations, well done.
Solid weekend for the AVR Avatar Porsche team. A win yesterday, a win today. The only crew that has managed to do that over the course of the 2 races in fantastic fashion. What a brilliant result and a great display here at Monza. So race 2 of the weekend in the GT4 European Series. It was set to be a great battle from the outset, but unfortunately for the speed car Audi, it was short-lived. They won yesterday. They went into turn 1 in 2nd place, but this little bit of contact from the overdrive Porsche is what ended their day. A puncture, which then led to damage and put them out after 5 laps. A devastating disappointment for Robert Kinsani and Benjamin Lariche. Winners yesterday, retired today. Then a big incident between the number 20 Mercedes and the McLaren Artura of Michael Kreis. Their chance to win in the Pro-Am category robbed on the first corner. Fortunately, the race was able to continue without too much drama despite the fluid that went down. But there was more great battles throughout the field. Overdrive versus All Motorsport, having a great battle over the course of the race. But then come the pit stops, it was very clear that it was just about staying in touch with your opponent. There were some very bizarre incidents through the course of the race as everybody gave it full guns blazing. But BMW were triumphant today with a victory and a 3rd place. After this fantastic fight back from Berke Bessler, they fought their way back to 3rd position past the allied Porsche, which crept up to 4th position. The sister car also creeping up to 5th position for Enzo Juliet. Kenny Heremans put the Chevrolet into a fine 2nd position after what has been a really smooth run for them. The Alpine coming through for the victory in the Pro-Am category. The Am category win for AVR Avatar Porsche. But BMW triumph for Gabriele Piana and Michael Schrey. They were 3rd yesterday, they get the victory today. There are Philipp Faber and Jakob Knoll making their way to the podium in fantastic fashion after what has been a really solid race for the Mercedes crew at NM Racing. Here comes the crew from Santalok Junior team. The number 42, Gregory Guilbert and Christophe Hamon in 2nd. But the winners, this time, it's permanent. Antoine Leclerc and Loic Villigière in the Alpine. They were robbed of the victory yesterday by a post-race penalty. This time, they get to keep it. And so the racing engineer for Pirelli, Peter Kuren, is going to be the one who will come forward to give the trophies to our podium finishers. Fabulous run from Jakob Knoll and Philipp Faber to the podium. And what a great result. Philipp Faber delighted the young Spaniard in brilliant fashion. Another consolidated effort there as Gregory Guilbert with his teammate Christophe Hamon come through for the trophy in 2nd place for the Santalok Junior Team Audi. But Loic Villigière and Antoine Leclerc finally get their hands on the winner's trophy, knowing that they get to take it home with them this time. They didn't quite for race 1, they do for race 2. A great end to the weekend then for the Pro-Am competitors. A solid day at the races at Monza. That was another true classic. And what a brilliant thing to be able to say after yesterday's red flag plus safety car. We only had 1 full course yellow, I think, in the whole race. 2 full course yellows. It was a proper motor race. Excellent stuff. So as the boys on the podium get busy with the fizzy, the GT4 European Series conclusion in Pro-Am, very impressive and very positive to see. So a great podium ceremony then for the Pro-Am category. And now we will switch our attention and focus over to the silver. Yet another terrific race up front, and we saw some majestic overtakes and some great battles. Very commendable effort to Gael Castelli, finding his way up to 7th position in the end in the Audi. I'm going to put vote in for the driver of the day this time. I gave it to Tom Edgar yesterday. Today I'm going to give it to Nathan Sharp. Put a very strong effort in the Allied Porsche. I might actually give it a joint with his teammate Alexander Hartwig. Hartwig and Sharp did a fantastic job to get the Allied Porsche to 4th position. They just miss out on the podium on this occasion. But there come Berke Bessler and Tom Edgar back to the podium again after 2nd position yesterday. They come to 3rd position today. The young man from Northern Ireland is back on the podium with his Turkish teammate. So up to the podium as well, we get the V8 Racing Chevrolet crew of Dante Haponge and Kenny Heremans. A great run from the Chevrolet. But on the top step of the podium, it is Gabriele Piana and Michael Schrey for the Hoffa Racing by Bonk BMW crew. A perfect race is very hard to accomplish. That's about as near as those two boys are ever going to get to the perfect race victory. A fabulous result then for BMW, with Chevrolet splitting those cars on the podium. Once again, Peter Curran of Pirelli, one of their racing engineers, will present the trophies to our 3 top crews. Boy, oh boy, is GT4 European Series racing going to be amazing in 2023. 2 different winners across the 2 races. A lot of cars that we didn't get to see at the front end of the field, really showing their true potential. I still think there's a lot to come from the elite McLarens. And, well, Speed Car Audi robbed in one race, gifted in the other. So it could be a very intriguing championship battle as the GT4 European Series rumbles on. We hope you've enjoyed the race action from the Autodromo Nazionale Monza. It really has been a sensational battle. From Jake Sanson in the commentary box, from Gemma Scott down in pit lane, we hope you've enjoyed the coverage as we get ready to get busy with a fizzy at Monza.